On June 28, 1914, the austere, multi-ethnic Austro-Hungarian Empire ruled over more than 50 million people: Germans, Hungarians, Czechs, Slovaks, Poles, Romanians, Croats, Serbs, and Bosniaks, all bound to Emperor Franz Joseph, but frayed by competing nationalisms. The heir presumptive, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was a relatively young, broad-shouldered man whose vision of the monarchy felt outdated to many. His morganatic marriage to Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, which excluded her and their children from imperial rank, and his strict views on military reform made him a polarizing figure. In the Balkans, the flame of South Slav nationalism burned bright. Serbian politicians and secret societies pushed for a greater Serbia and the unification of Serb-inhabited lands. Serbia's military intelligence network, led by Captain Dragutin Dimitrijević Apis, nurtured the clandestine Black Hand, unification or death, a shadowy group willing to use violence to advance pan-Serb goals. Vienna's 1908 annexation of Bosnia and Herzegovina had inflamed Bosnian Serb resentment and sharpened Belgrade's ambitions. Into this volatile mix, Franz Ferdinand scheduled a provocative state visit to Sarajevo on Vidovdan, the feast of St. Vitus, June 28, 1914, a date with deep symbolic weight for Serb nationalists, raising the stakes and making danger all but certain. Vienna's chancelleries, Sarajevo's municipal authorities, and the empire's generals watched anxiously, aware that a single spark could ignite a continental conflagration. Gavrilo Princip was a gaunt 19-year-old Bosnian Serb from Obiljež, born on July 25, 1894. He carried a bitter mix of rural grievance and urban radicalism into Sarajevo on June 28, 1914. A member of the Young Bosnia Circle, he met with Danilo Ilic, the Sarajevo organizer who linked the plotters to clandestine help from elements of Serbian military intelligence tied to Captain Dragutin Dimitrijević, known as Apis. Along the gilded Baroque Apel Quay, 6 conspirators took stations armed with handguns, bombs, and cyanide. Nedeljko Kabrinović crouched by the riverside near the Latin Bridge. Trifko Grabez and Muhammad Mehmed Basic stood farther up the route. Vaso Kubrilović and Kvietko Popović waited at crossroads, and Princip posted himself by Schiller's Delicatessen, where Franz Joseph Street narrowed. They had rehearsed routes, studied the Archduke's open-topped Grafen Stift, and timed the motorcade to pass after the municipal reception. Their motive was stark: reverse Vienna's 1908 annexation and ignite pan-Serb unification by striking the heir, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and his morganatic wife, Sophie. At approximately 10:45 a.m., Nedeljko Kabrinović stepped forward, lit a hand grenade, and hurled it toward the Archduke's car. The explosive hit the folded-down visor, rebounded, and detonated under the following vehicle, wounding bystanders and members of the escort. Kabrinović swallowed cyanide and jumped into the Miljacka River, but the poison failed. Police seized him, he vomited, and was taken into custody. The bomb's failure produced terror and confusion rather than the immediate assassination the conspirators had planned. Subscribe. Maybe it would have stopped the grenade. Security scattered, improvisation replaced the plan, and the motorcade sped on to the town hall with the imperial party shaken but alive. That ruined attempt left a raw, precarious opening that would soon harden into a decisive moment. After a failed grenade attempt earlier that morning, Franz Ferdinand, adamant and imperious, insisted on keeping his vow to visit the wounded at Sarajevo's municipal hospital. That decision turned resolve into catastrophe on June 28, 1914. The imperial motorcade had completed a ceremonial reception at the town hall and rolled along the gilded Baroque Apel Quay toward the hospital. Governor Oskar Potiorek rode with the Archduke and Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, in an open-topped Grafen Stift. At roughly 11 o'clock a.m., as the cars negotiated the familiar curve beneath Schiller's Delicatessen, the driver made a mistaken, awkward right onto Franz Josef Strasse. Finding the turn too narrow, he stopped and began to reverse. That mechanical hesitation froze the procession in plain view of the young conspirator Gavrilo Princip, who had been lingering near the cafe after the earlier chaos. Princip, armed with a .32 caliber FN Model 1910 pistol provided by Black Hand Associates, stepped forward with cold, decisive calm and fired 2 shots at almost point-blank range. One bullet struck Sophie in the abdomen and another pierced Franz Ferdinand's neck. Both were mortally wounded and collapsed into each other's arms. Bystanders screamed, policemen lunged, and Princip was wrestled to the pavement and bound. He made no dramatic escape. The governor, dazed, ordered medical aid as the imperial entourage's faces went pale with instant grief. Sarajevo, a sepia-toned city of markets and mosques, convulsed first in stunned silence and then in an urgent, fearful bustle as the news spread. The killings, swift and brutal, transformed a local tragedy into an international tinderbox and set events on a course that would soon engulf Europe. After the bullets, Austro-Hungarian investigators converged on Sarajevo and assembled a concise, incriminating dossier. The .32 caliber FN pistol, bomb fragments, witness statements, and captured conspirators all pointed beyond local malcontents to organized assistance from Serbia. Interrogations identified Danilo Ilic as the Sarajevo organizer and produced testimony and documents linking several plotters to the Black Hand and to officers in Belgrade's military intelligence tied to Captain Dragutin Dimitrijevic, known as Apis. Vienna treated those threads as proof of a malignant Serbian current, and the imperial chancelleries moved from grief to calculation. Foreign Minister Leopold von Berchtold and Chief of the General Staff Franz Conrad von Hötzendorf pushed for a forceful, punitive reply to crush separatist agitation. Emperor Franz Joseph and Hungarian leaders under Prime Minister István Tisza debated risk, sovereignty, and timing. Germany then entered the stage decisively. Between July 5th and 7th, Kaiser Wilhelm II and Chancellor Theobald von Bethmann-Hollweg offered unconditional political and military backing, the fabled blank check, transforming Vienna's internal debate into a near consensus for decisive action. Austro-Hungarian jurists and generals then drafted a legally barbed ultimatum designed to wound Serbian pride and to provide a casus belli if rejected. Delivered to Belgrade on July 23, 1914, with a terse 48-hour demand for a reply, the ultimatum demanded suppression of anti-Austrian propaganda, arrest of implicated individuals, dissolution of subversive organizations, and acceptance of Austro-Hungarian participation in the judicial inquiry. Those clauses were clearly calculated to humiliate Serbian sovereignty. The document's calibrated severity, combined with the certainty of German backing, forced a stark choice: accept terms that would cripple Serbia's independence, or refuse and give Vienna the pretext for a crushing imperial reprisal. Diplomacy moved rapidly toward a breaking point. The Vienna ultimatum, delivered on July 23, 1914, was precise and punitive. Serbia had 48 hours to accept demands to suppress anti-Austrian propaganda, arrest implicated individuals, dissolve subversive groups, and allow Austro-Hungarian participation in judicial inquiries. Belgrade's reply on July 25th accepted most clauses, but refused the crucial concession to let Austrian officials operate on Serbian soil, a measured, dignified partial compliance aimed at preserving sovereignty. Leopold von Berchtold and Chief of the General Staff Franz Conrad von Hötzendorf, impatient for retribution and bolstered by Kaiser Wilhelm II's so-called blank check, judged Serbia's answer insufficient. On July 28, 1914, Emperor Franz Joseph's government proclaimed war on the Kingdom of Serbia. That declaration set off a chain reaction. Russia, positioning itself as protector of the Slavs, ordered mobilizations on July 29th through July 30th. Germany issued ultimatums and declared war on Russia on August 1st. France prepared to honor its commitments, and Germany declared war on France on August 3rd and invaded neutral Belgium on August 4th, drawing Britain into the conflict the same day. In a matter of days, the ornate diplomatic architecture collapsed. as mobilizations, railway timetables, and alliance obligations turned the Sarajevo assassination into a continent-wide conflagration. From a single pistol shot in Sarajevo to a continent-wide conflagration, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand set off World War I, a grim, mechanized cataclysm that shattered old orders. Empires fell. Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, Russian, and German monarchies collapsed, and the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 helped redraw maps into fragile nation-states and mandates. The war inflicted unprecedented casualties, with millions killed and many more wounded or displaced, while industrialized warfare, from trenches to poison gas, and total mobilization transformed modern violence. Politically, the conflict accelerated revolutions like the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 and planted resentments later exploited by fascist movements. Institutions such as the League of Nations attempted collective security but proved weak. That single, desperate act in Sarajevo cascaded through alliance systems, timetables, and diplomatic rigidities to reshape the 20th century, reminding us that history is shaped by contingency and responsibility, and that rigid alliances can turn a local crisis into a global catastrophe.